Others, how are you guys doing this week? Hopefully, you guys are doing great. Hopefully, everything is going well for you. But no worries. Hopefully, no worries, no biggie. Hopefully, everybody has enjoyed their time. I just got notified that Loud Car was about to leave. Over the past couple of weeks, everything's been going great for you. Somebody needs an exhaust. So just give me a moment just for this to pass. Welcome to Lives Outside, right? Definitely welcome to Lives Outside. So, with that said, I just wanted to address because today is September 1st, 2021, and some of the people around me have lost their water. Today was the last day of watering. Some things that those of you who are going to have it a little bit longer, it looks like I'm going to still have mine for a little bit longer. Um, what you're wanting to look at doing is getting something into the soil that is going to help with stress. You're going to want to get some potassium down into the soil, something that's going to be able to release and help the grass as it goes to bed naturally. Definitely those things that you want to look at getting down into the soil is any kind of amendments to help sustain the soil and to break down over time of this period of time while we're not getting any kind of water or anything, and to start in to making that soil a lot better. What we got to do for it is not bring it out, put it in, bring it out, put it in, is that once the water's turned off, if we are not going to supplement it with house culinary water or anything like that, because we're talking about secondary water obviously here, we definitely want to look at using or not using anything on it. If we are not going to supplement, we don't want to bring it out and put it back down, bring it out and put it back down. That's going to help with the stress, and that will kill your lawn if you ultimately do it too much or it hits a wrong peak. One of the things we do want to pay attention to as it goes down is hopefully you've had not a lot of bug pressure, pest pressure, anything like that. It has been super bad here in Utah this year. So it would not be a bad thing to actually put a preventative down at this point in time to prevent anything from bugging your lawn as it's going down, figuratively speaking. It would actually help because the secondary causes, as long as you put it down, are what's going to hurt the lawn. It's going to be that foot traffic on a dormant lawn. It's going to be pests. It's going to be those things other than just being put dormant, because it can handle that. We aren't going to have any worries with that. Overall, what we want it to do is to go to bed, and then if we start getting rains, we start, it'll green it back up and it'll come back out of it, and then it should sustain as we get lower temperatures. But if it doesn't, it'll be totally fine. It will rebound next year. This isn't a long enough period, just as long as there isn't some kind of secondary causes that are going on in your lawn. Just pay attention to those types of stresses that are there. Now, if we have a good winter, it will definitely help. We do want to put our winterizer down. We will want to give it a little bit more resistance and stuff. So we will want to put a winterizer down closer to when it actually gets cold, right before it goes dormant. End of October, beginning of November here in Utah, it definitely works out really well. This kind of is a video alive today, more for the Utah folk, but others can definitely jump on and see what's happening here. But next spring, if for whatever reason it has suffered and stuff, given that we get a good winter and that they turn water on at a decent time, we can do a spring seed. So it's not something that you need to worry about. People always freak out about, oh, you can't do seeding in the spring. Watch me. Watch me. You can't seed in the middle of the summer. Watch me. You can too, okay? So it's just a matter of just water. That's all it is knowing how to control the moisture where the seed is at. It just needs more if it's hotter, plain out and simple. So if we have a good winter and they turn it on next year, and for whatever reason we do have any issues coming out in the spring, we can do a spring seed. So we have a lot of plans in store for being able to move forward. So not a big deal, not a big issue if we don't have those things, Like if it, for whatever reason, we have some foot traffic that kills it, or there's some kind of pest or some kind of disease or something like that is in there, it definitely will be an issue. But we can fix it. So don't stress it. Don't worry about it. Take your mow and mow it down later in the season. Don't mow it down yet. Allow it to have a little bit of obviously taller canopy and stuff right now. Hopefully you've had a little bit of potassium in there and it's been standing those blades up, and so you can still get air and everything in there so that you don't have any kind of issues there. But yeah, overall it should just be totally fine. You can reach out to me, Jeremy of the Greener Lawn, if you have any more questions on that. Obviously we're on a live and I'm not doing a regular video. I can ask you if you guys have any questions. I forget about that. All right, now that I've got all that housekeeping out of the way, how's it going, Papa Moslow? Last day of the year. Yes, last day of the year for a lot of people here in Utah with secondary water. That means if they do not have culinary hooked up to their house, which is the regular source that most people use, they are going to go dormant. That's what it means. And yes, we are still in the 90s. It is going to start trickling down into the 80s, but it's still going to be warm and it will stress the lawns out. Lawns will go down. I am not affected yet. I am on a different canal system. But yes, it is going to be no more water for the season. We normally have our water turned off on October 15th, and I still feel that's maybe a touch early. I'd like to see it through the end of October, but it sustains pretty well. I don't usually have the issues. It's other people that we're trying to establish and get going. So September 1st has stopped seeding plans. It's stopped a few different things. But like I said, we can do all these things in the spring. Where are we? Last day of the year. Trevor, don't remove it. You are the first Aussie. Good evening, up New York Lawn. Hopefully you're doing fine as well. First Aussie, yep. Urban Dad. Good to see you around a lot lately, Urban Dad. I'm really enjoying it. What's going on here? Not much. Pacific Northwest. How you doing, Nate? Struggle to control my moisture at times. Yeah, you guys did some things up there this year. 114 for a high, and then you decided to like rain all over the place, didn't you? Didn't you guys have pretty wet after that, or did I misunderstand? Unfortunately, I have city water to water my lawn all year long. Cost-wise, I get that. Unfortunately, fortunately, you don't have to run into this. Definitely ways of bringing down your cost. We definitely were able to show a lot of people that this season. Hopefully your costs were relatively low on that. If they weren't, that's one of the things that we can definitely work on next year for you. But that's a fortunate thing. One of the things, though, that culinary water doesn't have is a lot of the sediment and not sediment, but yeah, sediment anyways. But the nutrients, the minerals, the different things that actually come in the secondary water. I pick up iron, and so a lot of this is iron, iron pop from my water. We just have to make it available for the soil, and so we just have to unlock it. But I do my iron regimen, and it's definitely been doing a great job. You can see over my shoulder, we're not too shabby, not shabby at all. Overall, it's definitely one of those things that you don't get the nutrients, but you don't have to worry about people turning it off unless you don't pay your water bill. And that can be a big thing during the summer if you are watering, incorrectly, or if you haven't dialed everything incorrectly. Do you collect rainwater? If we got rain, honestly, I would look into it. But seriously, this season we had 2 weeks, about 3 weeks ago now, where we had a good amount of rain. We did. We really did. In 2 weeks, we had over, 2.5 inches. So for us, that's amazing because I think we get 5 inches annually from rain. We get a lot of snow. Those things back here get a lot of snow up in them. I don't get a lot of it, but we got 2.5 inches, and yeah, it would have been good, but it would only sustain so much, and I don't think it would be cost effective for me to implement. So not here, I don't do it. If we got more rain, it would be more feasible. I don't know, maybe something to look into for future, but I don't think it'd be more feasible for me. Missed my question about spraying for weeds. Did I? Sorry about that, Aaron. Let me go back up, see if I find it. Aaron, if it was pre this, I don't see anything pre me starting this, so I apologize. My feed starts at 7:10. Aaron, hook me up with your question again. Yeah, hook me back up with your question, Aaron. Are you able to do a fall fir if you can't water it in? When do you start your fall fir and what numbers? So it depends on what I'm shooting for. Like here, so are you talking about a winterizer or a fall fertilizer? Because the fall fertilizer, for those who did not go dormant, I actually helped people put down stuff earlier this week. They were able to water it in, and we broke down all the quick release out of it, and now it's just, you're silly. It's one of those things that where it's now going to slow release into the soil. So it's not bad if you can get it watered in and get that first initial release out of it. I use for this, I helped people with a 70% or 75% slow release. Let me see if I have any more over here. I might only have 30s over here, but I helped people with some 75% slow release. Yeah, these are only 30s, but let's see, are we on this? So as you can see, it has a 32%, 3, 8, and then it has 30% slow release and a little bit of iron to give us the pop and the green up. And then it does have some humic acid, and it has a couple of other unlisted goodies. A little bit of sulfur. So that's what we needed around here. But that slow release, and what I normally have in mine is a 75%. That's why I have those 30s over there, is because it wasn't time for those. Those are to help people that still have water, and we want a little bit like extended release on theirs. But the 70%, the nice thing about it is that it won't burn, and it will slowly release as the soil needs it, and it helps out overall. So something like that, for people traditionally, a half pound to a pound will do you extremely great at this point for the fall fertilizer. A winterizer, I'm still going to go out with either that 30 or the 70 and help people with those bags. Those are ones that I have just here. I have a fertilizer manufacturer seriously within a half mile of me. It was that bag that you saw. It's called Great Basin Turf. I work with them. They're pretty good guys over there. They really help me out a lot with a lot of the pro side of things. So I understand, what pros are going through. I understand what the agricultural side of things are going through, those different things from them. And they're super good with that. But yeah, that's what I would go down with and what I've been going down with for people that I've been assisting. Overall, it's been great. If you're using humic, or if you're using the next product lines, definitely, like a green pop would be good for the fall. Any kind of starter fertilizer that's just going to get in there and work. If you have water, give yourself that growth. Give yourself, the resistances. Sorry, I'm trying to think of disease and pest and all those resistances. Get your resistances up tight, get those roots growing down deep, and get yourself a little bit of color out of it. I would normally do it if I was going to seed, but I'm so nervous because they haven't given me a time frame on mine. So I honestly think one day I'm going to walk out here and I'm going to go to diagnose something, and they're going to cut my water because they haven't told me. So that means that I'm still slated for October 15th, and I don't believe it. I absolutely do not believe it. So yes, on that, as far as that is concerned, definitely get yourself something that has a solid analysis. If you have water, a starter fertilizer, which is a quick release, is going to be usually out and all released within 4 weeks. Get something like that out in the soil. Get yourself pumped up, get yourself well fed before we're going to go to bed. Then get yourself a good winterizer going into winter. That's what's going to pump your lawn up, make it look good, and pop out next spring looking like a champ. Hey Ron, how's it going? Oh, just got a brand request from Giraffe. Okay, Giraffe. Y'all want a giraffe? Sure, why not, eh? All right. Would you put any insecticide out while seeding or wait until it's already established? So if you're seeing pests, you want to, obviously address the pests when you're seeing them. Double check the labels to make sure that they aren't going to interact with each other. A lot of pesticides, I don't think, have any kind of things that will cause anything, like bifin or permethrin or some of these other ones that they have, but just double check. But if you're not seeing the pests, it's one of those things that if you don't need to put it down, don't put it down. If you see them, then I would address the fact. Or if you've had bad pressure, then address the fact. That was kind of what I was saying at the first. If we've had such bad pressure that it wouldn't be a bad idea to go down with something here in Utah as they go dormant. But overall, is it 100% necessary? Nowhere close. It's one of those things that you'd be 50-50, totally fine, throw it up in the air, be happy with it, however you go. I'm eyeing this person that's walking behind me also. How's it going? So, yeah, so just kind of weigh out your pros and cons there. I wouldn't be too preemptive. I wouldn't be too worried about it if you're not having pressures. Here in Utah, seriously, we warmed up so early that we had June bugs, we had different grubs and stuff that were like showing stress signs in our lawn in the beginning of May, when we normally don't see any of this until like late June, early July. And we've had a couple of cycles of grubs that have gone through, and the sod webworm have been outrageous this year. So we've had a huge pressure because it's been so dry. They've been able to breed. They've had a couple of different cycles that have come through that have really caused us a lot of issues here in Utah. It's the only reason, like I said, that I give that out there, that information. Marshall, how are you? Totally fine. There's no late. Oh, okay, here we go, Aaron. With the water being cut off, is it okay to spray weeds or will I be burning the lawn? Okay, so here's where you want to spray weeds. Okay. So, if the lawn is still green, you're good to spray. If the lawn is dormant, you're good to spray. If it's in between, don't spray. Okay? It's that simple. If it's completely dormant, you're totally fine. If it's completely green, you're totally fine. Do not spray it when it's in between, because that's when you will stress it out, because it's already going to bed. It's already kind of stressed. It's freaking out. Do not nail it in between. Give yourself a little bit of window. Let it go all the way down. Go ahead and spray them at that point in time. Okay? Do not blanket spray. Don't blanket spray if you go out and do it, just in case you do burn it, because we have a lot here in Utah. We have a lot of Kentucky bluegrasses, which are rhizominous, and they're going to fill in patches pretty well if we accidentally burn them in the spring. And we can repair like quick little patches with a plug. With some grass seed, we can repair these places pretty darn easily. So don't blanket spray at all, just spot spray. But like I said, either all the way up or all the way down. Don't do it if it's in between. That's when you will kill it off. I don't know if you saw my Instagram post that I posted. That's what they did, is they sprayed a section of their lawn that was going wasn't getting water properly, and I explained to them, don't do it. Don't fertilize, don't do anything at this point. Let's fix the water issues. They hired a professional company, toasted 2 sections, just they're roasted. Absolutely roasted, because it was that in-between section where it was kind of getting water, so it was like floating, and then they nailed it, toasted it. So yeah, don't do that. Definitely don't do that. So up or down, but not in between. If you are at all like worried if you're in between or whatever, it's better to do nothing about the weeds or hand pull the weeds. Because this year in Utah, that's another thing, is that we've had a lot of pests, but we've had a lot of weed pressure also. Myself, I've gotten a lot of weeds within my lawn. I have. It really has. It's been under a lot of stress. I have never given it that little bump water. I've never given it another thing. It's been twice a week regimented. And because I've been using Hydretane, I've had it down, instead of at the inch or an inch and a quarter, I've actually had it down at a 0.6 between the two. So basically 1/3 of an inch and 1/3 of an inch twice a week is what I'm at. And so I have seen my lawn stress just enough that it has allowed weed pressure to invade and actually get hold. Really bad in the park strips. Park strips, they've done these things here in Utah where they've said, you know, they wanted us to kind of let them go in some areas. And so I haven't really taken care of mine as much as I should have. They got nailed by pests and they have a lot of weeds in them. But it's that same thing. I haven't sprayed them. I've tried to hand pull them the best that I can because I don't want to spray semi up, semi down. I did nail one place and I did kill a place. So I know better than that. I was stupid. I was walking by. I was helping one of my neighbors. I had it in my hand. I was like, ooh, weed. I'm holding a weed killer. Bah! And I was holding a grass killer at that point too. So, yeah. Just know that weeds are a pressure this year. Don't freak out over them. We can rebound it next season. It would be smart to put down a preventative if you're not going to overseed. One of your last applications, like if you still have a little bit of water left right now, a good application to go down with if you haven't put anything down within 4 weeks, you could go down with a pre-emergent or get a standalone pre-emergent, just put it down by itself, and then you can do that at any point in time as long as, you know, it's up and everything. And that will help our weed pressure for next year if we run that pre-emergent now and then in the spring. So it will definitely help. Overall, though, all the way up, all the way down. Any talk of Utah get together again? So if nobody does one this fall, I am going to rally the troops and get us done next spring. With us losing water and stuff, I actually had this conversation with, I want to say one of the creators, but I don't think it was a creator. I think it was just one of the followers. Make you feel better? You feel good now? Okay, just making sure. No. So, oh, he's back. So overall, if we don't get together this fall, I will put together something for the spring, try to get everybody to come together. We haven't been able to do one of these get-togethers because of the coves in a while. And with this Delta variant, that was another reason why I was kind of like, you know, it probably isn't the smartest thing at this point in time to host one of these get-togethers, because if something were to happen to somebody, I have a guilty conscience on me, and I would never want to be the cause of anybody's issues. So, yeah, I would never want to be the cause of somebody's issues. So, like I said, I am looking at spring on that. So if you are in Utah, or if you would like to be coming to a meetup, we will be doing something for spring. I will put something together. We'll figure it out, and we'll definitely, you know, have a fun time, get together, talk grass, talk shop. And I think earlier in the spring, so that we can all kind of come together here in Utah with a game plan after this season, but with information for next season. You know, if we get did it twitch? Did it twitch? I swear it twitched. I swear it twitched. He's terrorizing me right now. So we'll have a game plan that we'll be able to put together. Overall, you know, we'll know what kind of water we're going to have, what kind of season that we'll have, what kind of pushes, and when we'll need to put things together as far as those go. So overall, that's kind of what I'm thinking that should be. I'm hoping to come back sometime next year. Well, if we are going to put this together, maybe you should come down at that time there, Nate. Definitely. All right, any other questions? I'm not going to keep you guys for very long. I feel like another 4 minutes so that I was on for 30 minutes, and we'll call it a wrap. Any kind of burning questions, anything you got on your mind, anything that we can answer while we're here. Hopefully your guys' lawns are doing well. If you had to put them to sleep, hopefully, you know, oh, there's Connor right there. Hey, come to let's do a meetup next spring. Let's do a meetup. And it's your idea. We can call it whatever you want. What do we call them now, Connor? I know, what do we call them? You had the name for it, and I messed it up the last time. You're always in charge. You're definitely in charge, but I'll make sure everything runs smoothly for you. So, any kind of questions or anything before I let you guys go? I miss you, Connor. I need to come up and see you. You got houses and stuff around you now. That's absolutely bananas. I need to move in around you. Obviously, need to move up there. Anybody questions? Next products have to be watered in. So have to be no. Is it good to have them in the soil because that's where they work? Yes. So the only ones that I do not recommend watering in is going to be your green effect, just because it has the iron, and your green, your microgreen. Sorry, your microgreen. That iron can foliar feed it for up to 6 hours and then water it in. The other ones, they do better if they are in the soil. That's where they work. So there's really no point in not watering them in. That's why they have you put it down with an ortho hose end spray. You'll see me use my battery powered sprayer, but I in turn then turn on my sprinklers after the fact and get it to water in after. So it's kind of a catch-22. Is it going to hurt anything? Will anything not work? No. If it has nitrogen in it, it's normally a good thing to water it in just so that we don't get any burn. But overall, not too bad. You're aerating. Your season's already over up there, isn't it? Party at Connor's place, he can supply the boats. Should you collect the cores? On your lawn, yes. Your real mowers will not like that. Overall, do you need to collect the cores if you have a longer lawn like mine? No, you don't. They can break down naturally and just kind of go back and in. But the best thing to do is that when you do a core aeration is to fill those holes with an organic material that will allow drainage over a lot longer period of time instead of filling back in with the natural dirt, natural soil, and the breakdown of stuff we have there to help, with that for a longer period of time. Because if we're just allowing it to break down and just do its thing, it's not going to last as long as if we fill it with a material, an organic, or not an organic, but just a material like sand or compost or a topsoil, something that has a different consistency that will allow drainage for a longer period of time. Yes, Connor, yes, please do collect those. It would be funny to watch you go full lawn rebel and not collect them and then run it over with the triplex. I don't think you want to fix that though, but I might be daring you. Do it. Do it. Do it. All right. No other questions, comments, concerns, anything like that? All right. Well, I'm Jeremy of the Greener Lawn. Hopefully you've had a great week. And just for those who are here, I am going to be starting to drop regular content again. It's not going to be all lives anymore. And hopefully, we can help you through stuff. I do love information of what you guys are going through so that I can make relevant content. I can follow what everybody else is doing. Everybody's on the same kind of schedules of what everybody's seeing. But overall, content that's relevant for you guys is kind of king. So, glad you love them. Glad you love them. They definitely look good in your collection. I'm Jeremy of the Greener Lawn.